Here we go. Welcome to the introduction to Tarot. I know that many of you guys have experimented with Tarot in the past, but Tarot is much more than just a card game, as you all know. We've used it to change people's lives. Now when I say we, I mean me and higher self. It's not good to read. Number one, when you're reading Tarot, never say, I'm doing this for you. Because why? I believe it takes away from that purity, that pure light source. So I always say we. Great ways to connect to the Tarot.
I'm late, I'm so sorry.
It's
Can I still come?
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You just sign up with Tarot. And then I'll just get you a chair.
Okay, cool.
So,
Sorry I'm late.
thanks for making it. It's
What's
fine.
your name?
It's
Madeline?
okay.
Christina.
Christina.
So, a great way to start your Tarot practice is in conjunction with a meditation practice. I study Kabbalah, and I stick to Hermetic Kabbalah because it really connects to the Hebrew Tree of Life. The tarot cards were originally designed to connect to the Tree of Life. In a sense, they're a blueprint to accessing God's awareness. But like I said, that's for another class in itself. The basic understanding of what Tarot is for is it's a journey to reaching God and understanding the God in everyone you meet and learning how to access that. Now when I say we, I mean me and the fool that resides within me. Because the fool is like the inner child, as Christ says, be like a child. Only like a child can you enter in the kingdom of heaven. God bestows blessings upon you when you connect to that higher self. That higher self is jovial, it's childlike, like the fool. It doesn't see distinction, it doesn't see duality. It's innocent, it retains its integrity. So each of the tarot cards are actually a journey between sight, smell, distinction, right? Instincts, taste. So you have your six senses working through the tarot as well. Essentially, the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet connect also to the 22 major arcana cards. There are 56 minor arcana cards and 22 major arcana cards. Why 22? 22 is the master number. There are 22 bones in the skull that make up the skull. Okay? Bones that make up the skull. The 22 is considered one of the greatest master numbers of all.
Do you have a notebook I can buy?
So I promise you that not only will you understand what the Tarot is for, but you're going to have a deeper appreciation on how to read for yourself and access each card. Each card is much more than just a symbol or a picture. They are also gateways to understanding higher consciousness. The most popular deck in the world is the 1909-1910 Rider-Waite deck, painted by Pamela Coleman Smith under the tutelage of Sir Arthur Edward Waite, who was one of the founding members in the Golden Dawn, secret society, the Rosicrucian Society, which started in England, came here into the early 1900s. Now, it was believed before that Tarot was not for everyone. Tarot, actually, I should take some. Like that.
Yeah, do it. Can I just interrupt for 1 second? Can we squeeze one more chair out there?
We can. Let's move this over here. Move this seat over here.
This is why we ask that you call and register beforehand so there's enough space for everyone. We don't have any more chairs.
You gonna sit on the stool? You're cool.
Is that okay? The stool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I sit on the floor?
You can totally sit on the floor. I
Thanks,
didn't
it's so
want
much better for me anyways. My hips hurt so bad. Here you go.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh, thanks.
You make a lot of friends here. So, and that's essentially what Tarot is about. Tarot is about, a oneness. Sometimes in the spiritual community, we develop a lot of ego because we feel like we've climbed to a certain state of awareness. So we go, oh, you don't understand this person's. They have bad energy or good energy. Well, the Fool's energy is completely neutral, hence the zero in his name. So here is, aside from the Tree of Life, which is according to legend, I'll break down the Tree of Life for you just a little bit. So the reason why the first man It's named Atom because the tree of life is an atomic structure. So if you take a look at it, you have proton, neutron, and electron. It's literally a perfect point of accessing God's power. Infinite light source wanted to understand itself. It was both male and female. And so it divided itself into fragments. And every time it divided itself, it developed density. So in the tarot, you're going to see the aces, right, to the tens. It represents climbing the tree of life from the 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s, 7s, 8, 9, and 10s. And welcome. It's okay. And each of these cards not only are pathways to understanding God's power and God's density, but they also exist as planetary forces. Okay? So when you're also looking at the 1s and the 2s and the 3 and 4 and 5 and 0, you're looking at the planets. When I'm looking at the 1s, I'm looking at the ineffable source of God. The 1s are the aces in the tarot. So it represents all of the combined powers of starting, because aces are beginning. When someone gives you an ace, it's like a beginning. 10s ideally represent the end. Okay? So from the aces to the 10s. And each of them are, like as I mentioned earlier, planetary archetypes. So the ace is attributed to being Neptune. Why Neptune? Neptune is the planet of mystery and dreams, and even some would say illusion. Neptune is the ruling planet of the astrological sign of Pisces. So Pisces tend to be very dreamy, very dreamy people. And so when you're moving downwards on the tree, you go to God's wisdom. God's wisdom is supposed to be very Uranian. Uranian is raw. So when I'm looking at the 2s, I'm looking at the spirit of Uranus, which is the Fool, the first path. So between God's Neptune and God's Uranus, right, you have the Fool card. The Fool is cool. And the Fool is cool. In actuality, the Fool is in every single card.
Oh.
It's okay. Hi. Welcome. The Fool, register up front. Have a seat.
No.
We have some space down on the ground.
Oh, yeah. I feel so
Welcome.
better.
Fine. You're cool. You're
Did
cool.
you register
Welcome,
before?
Adriana.
Or are you just walking in?
Yeah, I'm just walking.
Okay, we're not gonna do that in the future anymore, just because of
So
this.
the fool's in every car?
The Fool is
but
in
it's
every
25.
card. And we're going to break it down. We're going to break down every single card, and I'm going to prove to you how the Fool is in every single card. He's an androgynous being, so his essence is here. So here, yeah,
Which the 2 is which
the 2 is the
Pisces?
planet. The
one is Pisces.
What? 2, you see, it's more like a Piscean energy because it's
Okay.
Neptune. Now we're moving down to Uranus. Uranus rules over Aquarius, okay? So Aquarius energy is what God's wisdom is. It's in all the 2s. It's the power of God's Uranian energy, which is to split, to create, okay? Create. That's where the Fool walks on the first path, okay? Now going to the 3s, 3 is Saturn, right? Saturn is a restrictive force, strong. So all of the 3s, when I'm seeing them, it's the power of Saturn, okay? Moving downwards, okay, we have God's mercy and love, God's benevolence, called chesed in Hebrew, which is God's love, mercy, and benevolence. And it's a Jupiterian aspect, which is expansion, okay? So the 4s are all Jupiter's energy, according to the system of Tarot, okay? The system of the Tree of Life. Moving downwards, we have the 5s. The 5s are erratic energy, even chaotic, some would say. In China, right, 5 is the center of the Bakwa, the soul mirror. I'm sure you guys have seen that mirror with the 8 shapes. You're going to see it in the star card. You're going to see an 8-pointed star because it represents the 8 cardinal directions. Hello. Sorry, we don't have much space, but if you can find someone here on the floor, please have a seat. Be careful. Sorry, Jen.
Did you register already, Miss? Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You have a seat here.
What's your name?
You can have a seat. You can have a seat over here.
Madeline?
Madeline. Perfect. Awesome.
So when you have the power of the star, you're going to see the star of the Pakwa. You're going to see 5 is in the middle, and 5 represents change. So God's Mars is in the 5s. Okay, Mars is here, attributed to the 5s. So you're going to see. Often you pull a 5 when you're reading, and you're like, oh God, there's a change. There's going to be a conflict. 5 of Wands, a fight. 5 of Swords, verbal altercation, right? 5 of Pentacles, oh my God, my money's going to change. There's a fight with the physical aspect. And finally, the 5 of Cups, there's an emotional fight going on. This is hence the person bending over. And you'll see these in the cards because, as I said, many of you guys are familiar. But Arthur Edward Waite's cards are perfect because they're designed in accordance to the Tree of Life. There's another gentleman who I studied under his school. It's called Bota, the Builders of the Adytum. Builders of the Adytum. Adytum is 2 towers. And his name is, here you have Arthur Edward Waite, and the Builders of the Adytum is Paul Foster Case. So I studied Paul Foster Case. Yes.
Is he still alive?
No, he passed away years ago. He was a member of the Golden Dawn, and then he left the order, and he became.
Golden Stone is still around.
Golden Dawn is still around. There
They
was,
built it? And it's in England?
yeah, England, and there are sections here too in the U.S. and in California. The Golden Dawn. They're basically esoteric school of mysticism, alchemy, magic. You have to be initiated in certain degrees or levels. And the Tree of Life are an essence of initiation. But again, another class, another day. There will be more days and more classes. Right now we're going to get through this. So here we have, going down to the 6s, we have God's glory, God's sun. Okay, this is beauty, the beauty of God, which is a solar energy. So all the 6s are solar energies, solar charge. 6 of Swords, technology, getting over something, right? 6 of Wands, striding in glory and triumph. 6 of Cups, reminiscing on past, present, future, mastery over the emotions, right? 6 of Pentacles, there's a nice exchange of energy, one giving to the other. So 6s are always excellent balance cards. Here we have the 7s. The 7s are Venus. Venus's energy. That's right. The power of Venus are in all of the 7s in Tarot. Okay? So you're going to see the Venus of fire and the wands. The Venus of Pentacle, which is Earth. 7 of Pentacles, which is like trying to save up. Oh my God, I got to build my future. Venus, security. Okay? Security. The 7 of Swords, running away from security. Do I have it? Does my mind have it? 7 of Swords. So the 7s have a very feminine component. Okay? Now we go to the 8s. Okay? The 8s are Mercury by default. Okay? Okay, Mercury rules over planet, actually this astrological signs of Gemini, which is communicators, hunter-gatherers, and the Virgos, which are the ones who are about definition, all right? They are about being meticulous, opposite end, okay? Meticulous. So we're in the year of the rooster, right? The rooster is a Virgo energy, okay? So this is the year of being patient, really finiting and honing in on your craft. It's a 10-year, 2017, 10. We're going to get into everyone's tarot card today and what you will become based on just the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet and the 22 major arcana cards. Yeah.
And you said Gemini and Virgo. Gemini
is the 8 because it's Mercury. The 8s are Mercury. As the 7s are Taurus and Libra because it's a 7. It's Venus ruled by Taurus and Libra. 6 is the Leo, right? The Sun. 5 is Mars. Mars is Scorpio and what? Aries. There you have it. 4 is Jupiter, which is Sagittarius. Okay? So I sometimes do this method. This is a really cool method. It's understanding the planets. We're going to move down to the 9th foundation. The foundation of God is a lunar energy. It's the moon. So all the 9s are the moon. Okay? Keep in mind, the tree of life moves perfectly through how the speeds of planets move too. You're going to see that if many of you guys study astrology, you see how Mercury and Venus move very closely in proximity. You're going to see in the duration how they move through the solar system into another sign. Yeah, very fast. That's why they're on the same hemisphere here. Moving down to the moon. The moon is closest to the Earth. We see it visibly with the naked eye. So the 9 is right above the kingdom. Look low, not here, look low, not there, for the kingdom of heaven is within you. Christ was making a metaphor about earth. Earth is the kingdom, the physical and spiritual and emotional kingdom. So here's planet Earth. All the 10s are Earth. So it's how you're feeling it on the Earth. As the 9s are the moon is Cancer. Okay? Got it? And the Earth is the final last. So you'll see all the signs. By the way, Saturn is the 3s, which is Capricorn, and Pisces in the old system. Okay? The tree of life comes from the Babylonian system, Mesopotamian system. Capricorn and Pisces are ruled by Saturn in the old system. Okay?
Not in the new system.
In the new system, Capricorn would be. I'm so sorry. Capricorn and Aquarius are ruled by Saturn in the old system. I take that back. And Jupiter used to rule over Pisces in the old system, but now we have enough planets to like understand. These have now been defined as planets. Before these were only defined as planets.
Okay, but now those are.
Yeah, now these are planets. This is now Neptune and Uranus and Saturn and Jupiter and Mars and the Sun and Venus and Mercury and the Moon and the Earth. So
Which one is the sun? The 6, right?
6, yeah. So if you know astrology, which you can always go home study on your own time, you'll see which planets govern a particular sign. Okay? So we're gonna move through because this goes onwards. So here's my little poster board, right? This is my poster. Okay? I use some old cards. I generally recycle my cards because, like, I like to clear the energy. Like, especially after a lunar cycle or a complete year, I like to throw out my old decks or donate them, get rid of them. They hold old energies. Methods of cleaning your deck, you can place them on top of selenite or sage them. Some people put cedar wood or lavender, nice sage. Knock them hard because you want to shake all that old energy out. I also use these. They're called Tibetan Ding Shans. I use them like they really clear spaces and vibrations and locations. It's like a singing bowl. You can use these in comparison. So you can use these to clear your deck.
Can you use the singing bowl as well?
Yeah, or you put them in the bowl, gyrate.
What if you just use intention?
You can use white light intention. It depends how clear your mind is, though. Sometimes our minds are chaotic.
You can't do it, yeah.
Sometimes when they say don't let another person hold your deck because, you're personalizing. That's your window to God. It's like, that's your personal phone to God. You're going to let somebody use it? No. So, of course, someone you trust and love, sure, but remember, they're going to leave behind essence in your cards. So I'll have a personalized deck for myself that I don't let people touch. Then I'll use a general deck when I'm reading for my clients, my friends. So we're going to move along. We're going to show you how I told you before that the Fool is in every single card. Now you guys can actually pass this around and I'm going to go through this lecture. So just we can hold it here. You guys can pass it around. Take as long as you want. If you want to pass it back and forth, you may. So I'm going to show you something. Just hold it up, pass it back, or one in the middle. Yeah, I know it's a little hard. So, I have it folded. We can do that. You could feel free to look at it. I'm going to show you each of the because the Magician is labeled as card 1. Everyone's like, why is the Magician card 1? Right? Because the Fool is spirit unmanifest, so he's a 0. He doesn't have form yet. Okay, so he's a 0. That's why that be the case. But
he's a 1.
who? The Fool?
The Magician is
The Magician is the 1. The Fool is 0.
Oh.
The Fool actually starts the tarot.
Oh, but he's down there. How come
Yeah, I
he's
put him
not
down
here?
there because I put the 0 as I put the I'm counting it in numerical order, so I want to have it chronologically placed.
Okay.
So we're starting in the body because all we know is the body before we know. In this physical reality, the first thing we see is what we perceive. So we see the physical constructs of our body. If you look at the Fool card, right, you're going to see a few things over his head. That's why I want you guys to you can pass this around, just like put it on your lap, pass it around. And I'm going to read this. So I'm going to say thank you guys, okay? The Fool represents higher genius or higher psyche. It is an androgynous aspect of our soul, unaltered, unconditioned, and in many ways a scientist in every aspect of the word. Now keep in mind, I'm going to email you guys this entire class, okay, so you get it You got it. Just write your name up front. I got it right there. Okay. Why scientist? Okay, because the full role and sole purpose in this life is to gain understanding of the mental, emotional, and physical planes. It's not concerned with staying in one confinement because it is spirit, and spirit incorporates everything, right? The Fool card is often shown to be the first card in the tarot deck from the French word le fou, which means the wind, okay? The wind. The wind. The wind. Exactly. The Fool is one of the three elements in tarot. It is the spiritual archetype of the deck. So in every way, in some way, we're all the Fool card. We're just like scientists taking on a body. So, his carefree and jovial attitude reminds us of the inner child, which lays dormant within all of us, sometimes transparent and sometimes hidden. His loyal dog by his side, some may wonder why he has a dog by his side, is symbolic of his purity, innocence, okay? His instinctual nature and his loyalty. The white rose in his hand is the symbol of his purity and innocence, and the feather in his head represents the correct balance of opposition of good and evil. Now that feather in the head represents a writer. Sometimes I ask the person, are you writing? Because I'll see the feather in the head. There's a few cards you'll see with the feather in the head, which I'm going to go through right now. This is through my years of studying tarot. You're going to see a lot of themes, roses and lilies. What is the rose and what is the lily? Some may ask, right? You see them a lot in your cards. You're like, what is that? From the fleur de lis, the French word, the lily of the valley. It's the sacred lily. It's the lily of the macrocosm. God's power manifests. A Merkaba, six-pointed star, manifests in a flower. So it's the power of God, the male. See, a male has 6 octaves. The head lower, and 4 feet. So it represents 6 octaves, whereas the female has 5. The rose, 5 petals. So it's the unification of the mother and the father. So you'll see Lily and Rose all the time. Lily and Rose. Lily and Rose. The magician card. Lily and Rose. What is the Fool holding in his hand? He's holding a lily because he's bringing the power of God down, jumping off the cliff down onto earth. He's bringing God down. But both instinctual and emotional and mental.
And he has the rose too.
He has a rose, I believe, on his clothing, on his cloth. Some depictions, some later depictions, they place a rose, but I think it's inaccurate. I feel like I said, the reason why this deck is the most popular is because it's Kabbalistically correct, coming from a standpoint of, yes. Come, you look around his garland, he has a garland of roses. And Jesus referred to himself as the Rose of Sharon. Well, he was referred to the Messiah as the Rose of Sharon, the lily of the valley.
So lily is the masculine and garland is the feminine.
Exactly.
Because